All right, man. Next up, we got the Shark Tank panel. This is going to be awesome. I think we have everyone here. If anyone's on the panel, just unmute and turn your video on.
Yeah, we should have Kelly. Kelly should be here. Kelly Higney,
Yep.
season 11. Judy Edwards. I haven't talked to Judy in a couple of months anyways. Season 6, Laren Lockwood. Season 13. And of course me, season 12. But Amy Jo's got this panel, I believe.
Yeah.
No?
Is Amy running or I am? Either one's good.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'll
Yeah.
run it.
Yeah, I know. Well, you're going to take over anyway. No, just kidding, right, everyone?
Yeah.
Chris, just take it. I thought I was done until the judging session.
All right, it's all good. Come
Yeah,
on, you
yeah.
take it.
Yeah, we'll take it over.
Okay.
And just so
That's
everybody
awesome.
knows, we've been going since about 7 o'clock this morning, nonstop.
Wow.
So we did one of these on Inventors Day with Joy Mangano. We went literally from like 7 to 6 and it was a blast. And this is kind of the same thing, just a different level, different group. And there'll be some live pitching right after this. And then, I don't think you're on for this one, Kelly. The hardware show is like blowing up now. So
That's
we're going to have,
exciting.
we're not going to do a pre-show any longer. We're going to
Okay.
do actual live shows. They agreed to give us 2 stages. One,
Okay.
a stage for the buyers. So
Okay.
we'll do pitch panels with the buyers. And then we'll have, again, our own stage for all the inventors. And we're going to have keynote speakers. Obviously, we want you part of that. And with the talent pool, a lot of Shark Tank people,
Exciting.
a lot of attorneys, like patents, and
This is
we've got
great.
the patent office involved. I mean, it's an all-star team, literally.
It's exciting.
Awesome.
Very privileged to be a part of it.
Well, we're
So I
glad to have
appreciate
you.
you looping us in.
Going to be a lot of
Come, I
fun.
thought would be best to start off with maybe just a small introduction with all of us. And then we can, I mean, if Kelly wants to show a video, anybody can talk about their product in the beginning. And then we'll go into some of the journeys of Shark Tank.
Yeah, 100%. So as Chris said, Shark Tank panel here right now. It is the 2 o'clock panel. We have been going all morning. We have some great guests on already and a lot of people listening. And if any of you inventors that are listening in need some help, not just at the hardware show, we are going to be in a lot of shows this year. We're doing a lot of virtual shows. So make sure you join up, be a UIA member, UIAUSA.org, become a member and get in touch and be informed on the shows we'll be heading up. So for the Shark Tank panel, we have, as Chris had mentioned, Kelly Higney, we have Judy Edwards, Laren Lockwood, and Mr. Christopher Guerrera. I will let on my screen, Kelly start off, just do a quick intro, talk about her product if she wants to show it. You have the floor, Kelly.
Thank you. So I was on season 11 and we were fortunate enough to get an update on season 12. My product is the Bug Bite Thing. It's really just called Bug Bite Thing, but I always say the Bug Bite Thing. And it's a chemical-free suction tool that actually removes insect saliva and venom from bug bites. So you stop producing the reaction to all those uncomfortable symptoms like itching, stinging, swelling. It's safe on all ages. We are Amazon's #1 best-selling product for insect bite relief with over 67,000 reviews. And we are in about 30,000 retail locations this year. And we are working on growing our global expansion plans and just very excited to be a part of this group and network and, give back and help. I started my journey out of my garage. I sold my house to start the business. So there's a lot of people that can relate to that. But as far as my product goes, you just place it over a fresh bite or sting, slowly pull up on the handles. It creates a vacuum effect. You hold in place 10 to 30 seconds, let the irritant be drawn into the removable end cap, push those handles back down to release. This comes off to clean and sanitize between uses. And it also reverses. So if you get bites in awkward areas like fingers or toes, you can have that smaller, more concentrated suction.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool. I was hoping you were going to have the mascot on behind your mascot.
I can. We got a couple of
Yeah, I
them
want to
now.
say a key word there. Sold my house. It was
Yes.
multiple words.
Yes,
No doubt,
it was
no
it was a big deal, but we're fortunate with our own community and how it's grown and the opportunities that have come our way since Shark Tank and perseverance and pivoting and all the other obstacles that come with growing a business. So yeah, we were right there at the heart of it. So
All right, all right. Judy, why don't you come on, tell us, what happened with Shark Tank, your product, and then, I know you're doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Hey, Judy started Shark Tank. You didn't know that?
She did. We've got squatty potties in all of our offices and houses. So thank you,
She
Judy.
started, I told you, she started Shark Tank.
Yes.
Oh, I know, I'm that old. Oh, anyway, yeah, we was on season 6 of Shark Tank in 2014. We had started Squatty Potty in 2010, the end of that year. We didn't really even, I just give a bunch of little stools that our neighbor had made out of a CNC machine. They were wood, give them to my family and give them a bunch of information off the internet and said, here you go. I think it's going to work good. And sure enough, it did. And the family raved about it. And so we thought, well, maybe we better start selling. And how we kind of started is I had gone to a colon hydrotherapist, and the hydrotherapist told me to have my knees above my waist. I was having issues. And I come home and quickly looked on the internet in 2010, and there was no such thing as a toilet stool at that point. There was stools, but no toilet stool. So we decided to build a stool for the task, and that's kind of how it all started. Then we started sending stools out to people, to bloggers. We decided we better start making it in plastic so we could make it cheaper. Boy, it was a long adventure. But anyway, we just started one door opening after another. The initial investment, we had a second mortgage on our home. I didn't have to sell my home, but we did have a second mortgage on it. We were both 60 years old, ready to retire, and jumped off our final cliff, and glad we did.
Damn, I thought you were like 42 or something.
No, we were both 60.
Just, I'm trying to give you a compliment, Judy.
Do the math. Yeah.
Chris is on a roll today, boy.
Terrible jokes.
Oh, look who's talking.
Woo.
Talking about how young I was 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, I know you were still bald 7 years ago.
I've been
Actually,
bald for a while. I got a lot of hair. I just don't show it.
yeah.
That was the joke.
I think one of the fortunate things with Squatty Potty is it was a first to market type product. It was talked about a lot. It worked really well for a lot of people. Doors started opening. We had Dr. Oz call us after we just moved out of our garage, and we thought it was a joke from our family, and it was real. And he talked about it on his show, and then we had Howard Stern talking about it. And then we were invited to go on Shark Tank just out of the blue. We're just one door open after another. And I think because it was a product that was helping a lot of people and we were first to market, we really had that advantage. And plus the fact that everyone in the world can use a Squatty Potty. So we had all those things going for
You know,
us.
it's funny, Judy, when I talked to Lori Ganera about the Super Potty Trainer, that's the first thing she said. Like when we compared what that can do, that type of product, as opposed to yours met every criteria, right?
Yeah.
Man, woman,
That's
boy,
true.
girl, as opposed to like small child or baby, like, which makes it a lot more attractive in the marketplace.
Yeah, we-
Chris, it seems like all of our panelists, their product can work for almost anyone today.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, mass market and consumables, you can't get any better than that.
Right. Yeah.
And like Judy's product, it's first aid product, essentially, if you look at it, right? And that's kind of similar to bug bite thing. We're providing relief. We
Yes.
we mimic some of Judy's amazing insight by establishing a medical advisory board. So we follow your story very closely, Judy. So thank you for all
And
those.
you know what's ironic on Kelly's product? It works. I think I was bit. I was at night. I don't know. I woke up with a bump and like something bit me at night. Maybe a spider. There's a lot of crazy
Yeah.
spiders. I said, Brandy, get that thing out. Let's try it. I swear to God, it worked. I could not believe it. Honestly,
Yeah.
I thought it worked. It worked unbelievably. Like the
Yes.
redness was gone. Swelling went down. I'm like, wow. Now I
It's
see why
game
you got
changer for a lot of
67,000
people.
reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was still stuck on his head when I saw him the next day.
With a big hickey.
All right, Laren, you want to jump in?
Yeah. Hey, y'all. I'm Laren Lockwood. former teacher, coach. I invented the Lion Latch. I made it on Shark Tank last season. I was the first episode, and what a whirlwind that was. But I invented the Lion Latch. Since the Astros are doing so well, I'll show you all the baseball one that I made.
You had to bring
But,
it up, right? You know, I'm a Yankee fan.
I know, man, and I loved it. Anyways, so I made it to store your small jewelry on the go. This is just the demo with your ring. So your rings, engagement rings, stud earrings can go inside, vitamin supplements, and it's not a screw top lid. The lid just goes on, but it comes with this custom carabiner that I designed also that you're just going to snap on. And so now the lid is locked on and you can attach it to your keys or inside your gym bag or your purse. That way your jewelry's not just floating around in your bag or your pocket. And then that way also when you grab your keys to go, you remember to put your rings back on. And mine are currently not on because I was doing ceramics earlier. So that's definitely another reason I use the Lion Latch is when I'm making art, as an art teacher. I don't want paint or clay in my rings. It takes forever to get that out. But came up with this in 2015, came up with a plan for a Kickstarter, got it funded. I let it sit for a while because I was like, all right, that was fun. I'm an art teacher. I got back to teaching art and then people started reaching out to me wholesale. I didn't know what that meant. So I Googled it. Turns out I can wholesale the Lion Latch to jewelry stores or boutiques, and I came more exposure. I started doing shows. I went to America's Mart. That's where I got picked up by The View with Tori Johnson. I did well on The View. And then she put me on Good Morning America, where I actually got to fly out and be on the show and demo my product on live TV. I sold thousands of units. Luckily, I had my high school students, I had the pick of like my best kids. They came in, helped me fill these orders. It was an insane week of doing that. But from there, I had the numbers, I think, to get on Shark Tank. And after applying for the third time, Mindy called me and I was going to get to fly out to California and film for Shark Tank. And so ever since, things have just skyrocketed. Sales have increased by 10. I'm not on Kelly's level yet, but I do have almost 1,400 reviews on Amazon.
Amazing. It's amazing. You have to
Thank
start
you.
somewhere and build your community. That's the most important thing.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. And like right now we're like in the mix. Like I'm in my office. You can see that. The baby's asleep right outside my door.
Yep.
I just got done writing thank you notes for my orders because I mean, that really helps me gain reviews as well. And I'm just super thankful for all the orders I receive. So I try to show that when I can, while I can, but it's starting to get to where I'm getting so many orders, it's hard to keep up with that. So if you want a thank you note, you might want to order now. The Lion Latch.
Yeah, I have to say, I carry Laren's product. I travel a lot and I'm one of those people that don't shower with my rings on. So in hotel rooms, I freak myself out because they have the little soap dishes and all that stuff and big old faucet sinks. So I always stick my ring right in the Lion Latch and attach it to something. So if I forget about it in a hotel room, I got my stuff secured.
Thank you,
Wow.
Kelly. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Now
Yeah.
she's got her cool glow in the dark ones. I saw that last video. you
Yeah.
did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think I have one like right here, right?
Oh.
I'm running out of them. They're
I
limited.
bet. It's that time
They
of
go
year.
fast. I just ran out of volleyball and soccer, and I'm getting a message every day. When is volleyball coming back?
Wow.
I told y'all they're limited. I don't know.
Limited means limited.
It does. I just got tennis in too, and the tennis balls are cute, but I do like the softball one also.
Very
That's
cute.
cool. That is cool. Well, good job. Good job. And it grieves me to say this, but Chris, you're next.
Wow, Carmine. I thought there
It
was some love
grieves
here.
you. How mean.
So my path has
Chris?
been a little different, right? I've come out of corporate America, so I ran a lot of big companies like Ford Motor Company. I'm on the largest patent in the world for Ford. I spent 3 years developing the onboard vapor recovery system, which you guys know is a little light on your dash if you don't close the gas cap. And it was a 1/8 turn gas cap, and it really revolutionized the industry. So Ford came out with a quarter, and GM came out with a quarter, BMW came out with a snap. So I had that joy of really understanding structure and Lean Six Sigma. So I became a really strong advocate. I'm an engineer, manufacturing. And then I went on Good Morning America Shark Tank with one of my products. That's a funny story. I got a call late at night. And it was a producer I had just met in Manhattan one day going to Good Morning America. Like, you have to be present, right, to get some visibility. I just happened to stay in contact, and she called me up, thought it was one of my kids. And it was her saying, "You want to be on Good Morning America Shark Tank?" And I said, "Yeah, I need a video tomorrow by like 9." I'm like, "It's 10 o'clock at night. I'm flying out tomorrow." She said, "Well, it's your call." I said, "Okay, I'll take care of it." So we went into the office, filmed it, sent it to her. She said, "You're on." And then, then as time went on, I started developing and launching my own products and other products. And then I got a call from Judy, my partner on Super Potty Trainer, asked me if I would be interested in that product. I said, sure. We got it into Walmart. I mean, it was kind of a tough time. My mother was passing away. I had been given a 2-week window from Walmart to get it in one of their test trials of, I think it was almost 400 stores. I did it. I mean, we had no label, we had no resin, we had no pictures, we had no boxes, and we had no fulfillment center. So we did it all in the plant. We literally molded the pieces. I got my nephews and nieces to pose, took professional photos, put them on labels, got all my suppliers around me to contribute, and we got it done. And that led to us getting on Shark Tank during COVID, which we'll talk about some of those journeys as we go through today. But 10 days in a room, it was pretty interesting experience where I hadn't met Judy at the time. I've been hanging out with her for almost 3 years and never met her in person until the hallway of Shark Tank going down the pitch for the first time.
Oh
Wow.
my God.
Yeah, I mean, and no one really knows that story. Like, literally, that was the first time I met her. So it's all about persistence, right? You know the story about really being relevant, getting yourself out there. I met Lauren, I think, because of, I don't know, she had a Good Morning America logo or something, and we connected on Facebook, and I started talking to her. It's just funny how we met, right? Judy, I met Judy I was in an Ace Shark Tank aisle. I wasn't a Lori product. I had just been on Good Morning America. That's how I met Judy Edwards, right? And Kelly, I think we met this very similar, right?
Yep.
And my whole network now is just grown. It's gotten better, bigger, just with all, similar like-minded people that want to help others and are enjoying the journey. So I appreciate all you guys being on and doing all the things we do together. It's just been an absolute joy to have you guys in my life.
Absolutely.
And Lauren's she's like my daughter who just picks on me all the time.
You just make it so easy. Like, I'm sorry.
Why did I know
So
she was going to
easy.
say that?
Right. But I feel the same way. Like, Shark Tank is the greatest gift you can receive as an entrepreneur for exposure. But once you become like part of the family with the other entrepreneurs, it really is like a crazy network, and it's amazing. Like, these are the people I've been looking for this whole time. And I managed to meet Chris earlier before I got on the show. I had Becca and Buckle Me as a friend. I had a few Shark
Met up
Tank
for
friends,
lunch. Yep.
absolutely. And that was just a few, we weren't all in one place, but once I got on the show, it was like, oh my gosh, I have 600 and something Shark Tank friends. And if I need help, all I have to do is ask, and like 4 or 5 people right off the bat jump in to help me.
Absolutely.
They already know.
Do you guys as Shark Tank alums, do you see a pattern, whether good or bad, with the products and your fellow Shark Tank entrepreneurs experiencing?
I feel like everybody has a different experience, to be honest with you. Some audition, I've heard, because I network with all of them as well, like Laren, and we have a big network of friends that all have completely different stories. So some of them applied. I've heard stories where they've applied for 7 years straight, 8 years straight. Just like Judy, they contacted me via email, totally thought it was fake. So everybody's scenario is a little different. I think also your product and the way you showcase your product and your community. I also think that the way they used to view the show versus now has significantly changed, because the sharks themselves have learned so much on who they're investing in, what they really can get out of, the entrepreneur to scale or make it what their vision is. So, it's very different for everybody, I think.
Yeah, I think Judy showed them the way. She showed them how to do it.
Yeah.
Because
She really-
honestly, look at 14 years later, right? I was 12 years, Laren's 13 years. there's so many lessons that they have learned about handing out money. The due
Yes.
diligence now beforehand is insane for Shark Tank. And
Yep,
then after with the shark, it's even,
yep.
it's insane. I mean, I didn't close a deal till a year and a half.
We were like
After we
8, 9
filmed.
months. Yeah, it was a lengthy process. So
I didn't mention that we sold the company
Yeah.
last year. And
congratulations again.
So I'm gonna come out and teach you how to play golf now.
we got our last payment this year, and I officially have nothing to do with Squatty Potty other than was the inventor. And it's given me a great retirement. What can
That's
I say?
amazing.
That is the
Love that
perfect story.
Love
Well,
that.
that's the
story.
American dream right there. I mean, you
Yeah.
earned it. You worked your butt off to get it to where it was, right? And now you're enjoying the benefits of it. And you took the
And
risk
it's-
and all the chances.
Yeah, at 60 years old, we didn't even have our home paid for. So we were like, what child are we going to move in with when we
Yeah.
can't work anymore? Situation. We were really scrambling at that point, and just feel so blessed that everything just fit into place for us.
Judy,
Wow.
I'll use a word my son uses all the time on me. Good things happen to good people.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. So question, you mentioned that, Kelly, do the Sharks, and I'm not trying to get into personally the business side of it, do they actually give you money, or is it like, hey, we'll buy inventory, or we'll help you with this, or we'll buy equipment, or do they
Again,
actually cut a
I
check?
think everybody's experience is different. My personal experience, we closed our deal for exactly what happened on air. We received Lori's golden ticket, which
Wow.
is given out 1 per season. We had all 5 sharks making offers. Then they started teaming up with each other. So it was like a bidding war. So again, everybody's experience is different, but after the show, we continue, we were doing well on our own. I already. So whether I got an investment or not, I was just going to come over prepared and do my best and have an answer to any negative questions they were going to have. And just like Judy said earlier, the pieces just kept falling into place. A lot of the retailers after the show reached out to us. Our factory literally
Wow.
converted to Bug Bite Thing Europe. So everything just started happening because of the massive growth from Shark Tank. And then the update episode blew it out of the water for us big time.
Wow.
The sales were higher than the original episode. That showed the expansion plans and things that we have in the works. And again, a lot of that came from, I wanted to be a Judy and a scrub daddy. I didn't want to be one of the companies that just goes off the radar and can't, sustain. So, I hit it really heavy with the media and the PR side, and we still continuously use the Shark Tank logo and branding, and utilize Lori's publicity when, we're launching new products. So my experience personally has been amazing from, the reach out with the casting producer all the way through our relationship with Lori Grenier.
That's great to hear. That's
The
awesome.
one thing I really enjoyed about Lori is Lori's very honest person.
Yes.
She was great to work with. She analyzed our company and she says, you don't need the cash that, we proposed. And so we settled for something different than what was on the show. And I can't divulge that, but I appreciate her being able to say, okay, you don't need this much. I will take less, kind of thing. And she saw what our needs were and she was honest about it instead of trying to grab it all and, take advantage of us. At that point, she was very honest with us and upfront. And I really appreciated her honesty and ability to analyze it and know exactly what she felt like we needed.
That's amazing. That's really great to
And
hear.
we actually did get money. Yes, we do get money from them.
And just for the record, Carmine,
And we do give them a percentage.
I would always tell Scrub Daddy, I always tell Aaron that like Judy's on your butt. I think she's gonna take you over for the #1 spot. He's like, no, we're working on other things. We got other products coming out. And I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. So
I'm
just
not
to
sure.
motivate him a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure what our sales are to date now, but I at one point we were up over 200 million in sales. I don't know what they are. I haven't followed it.
Oh my God, that's insane,
So,
right?
Yeah,
A dream, right? She's all of our inspiration. So, we mimic a lot of the same stuff that the top companies that have made it, and we follow through and put our own twist on it and grow. It's what us entrepreneurs do.
Judy, real quick. So do you still watch the show, Judy?
Yes.
So do you see big differences from when you were on to as Kelly was saying and Chris and Larry was saying, that the Sharks have learned so much? Do you see differences where they're jumping on projects or they're just passing on things that you're like, why are they doing that?
Well, I get so frustrated because I really just wish I could talk to people before they go on, because they go on thinking their product is worth $1,000,000 more than it's worth. And that will kill them dead right from the beginning, unless their product has some great potential. I don't know if you see that or not, but a lot of people go on and think that they just, I don't know where they get their numbers from, but they haven't even got any sales and they're worth $3 million.
Yeah, the valuation is critical for
It's
success.
very,
on Shark Tank.
very critical.
Yeah.
And I've always said I would rather have 50% of something than 100% of nothing. And I've been very open about that. And I tell people that all the time. You are replaceable too. Find out that you are replaceable.
Yeah, so Carmine, let me answer that a little bit, because we took a different approach, right? We strategized on, I saw other baby products that asked for like 5% for 50K. I'm like, who gets excited over that? I mean,
They don't, no.
right? So I'm not doing that. Okay, so we evaluated higher than we should have, but knowing if it saw an audience, it would sell instantly, because we knew every time we were in that audience category, it was selling off the chart. Every interview we did, bam. So we went in high. We went in at 300,000 for 10%, probably worth more like at the time, because we had COVID. We had big orders. We had 65,000 in sales like overnight, and it was like the big orders for Walmart were coming in and then just fell off because of COVID. So we had
Right.
everything going in the wrong direction. We had COVID. We got locked in a room for 10 days, right? I said, but I'm not changing. Like, we're going to continue to go in, and we just talked our way through it enough where Damon actually said on the show, they don't like it, like what Judy said, and Kelly, they don't like high valuations if you can't back it with numbers. He said, but I like the product, so I probably would have done the same thing. After it aired, of course, it filmed in September. It didn't air until March or May of the following year. So think about that, waiting all that time. It blew up. Like, Carmen, you were there. You were there for the party, right? Like, it blew up. The sales went off the chart. And the beauty of having it made where we had it made in the US, put the tool back in, just kept building. We didn't have to wait for anything. We just built. And the valuation of the company was more than I pitched, and Judy and I pitched on the show. So again, it's a risk, and I'm always been, I'm a risk taker. And
Yep.
I always say I can back up my talk. I didn't have the PO in my hand though. I was close. I didn't have it in my hand.
Lesson learned from the tank.
And I talked my way through it. And I remember my youngest son at the time at our Shark Tank airing party said, damn, how'd you pull that off? Because you were getting hit from everywhere. I said, listen, man, confidence has a lot to do with it. And after it aired, I'm like, how do you like me now? Exactly what I said was going to happen happened. He goes, no, I know. That's why we took a risk and a chance on you.
Yep. No, that Laren, did you go in there with a strategy, or you were just like, let's see what happens?
I am with like Judy on, like, I wish somebody could have talked to me before I went in to film for the tank. There's a lot of stuff you don't know about, like closing conversations you're having. Like, you can go in and ask for this and you close for it on the show, like when it airs, but in real life, that's not what goes down in the back, like on the back end of it. And it could be completely different. Someone doesn't want to close the deal, but it still looks like you got a deal on TV. I went in there, my valuation was correct. I asked for 15% or to give them 15 for 115. And they told me that I was going to be fine on my own. I didn't need them, and that I was going to make enough money for me, but they didn't feel like it was going to be enough for them to take from me. And at the time, I felt like a failure. I was like, I'm pretty pissed off when I walk out of the tank. And that was the hardest part for me, is because I'm a coach. I'm very competitive. And before I went in there, I thought, oh my God, which shark am I going to get to hug? Like, I'm going to get to celebrate leaving through the hallway. And the only time like I really blacked out was when I left the tank. Like, that's like when I couldn't remember anything because I was like so disappointed and angry. But I mean, they were looking out for me. They were like, listen, you do not need us. And I was like, yes, I do. Please just at least make it look like we got a deal. And, and I mean, they were right, but I got the whole Shark Tank crew of entrepreneurs, and I mean, I get to keep all the money I make now. You know, Shark Tank did give me the exposure and the sales to quit teaching for a public school district. I've taken that money. I've opened my own art school where I also do Lion Latch, and I've got freedom now. That was the whole goal is, you know, when I was teaching, I wrote a plan on how I'm going to start my own art school, and getting on Shark Tank was one of those goals because I knew that was the exposure I needed to skyrocket me
Wow.
in Lion Latch. So it worked. And now I can go get a coffee or go to the bathroom when I need to. Like, I don't have to find someone to come watch my class.
And
Yeah.
Lauren, seriously, you're a natural. Like, you got a great personality. You're a good human. You
Thank you.
do a great job on marketing. I mean, these are all things that people dream of. They can all learn from you. I know I can't tell you how many people tell me they think they know more than they actually know. And when I
Yeah.
see you, you never acted like that ever. And you're just a doer. You do the right things, and you're a good. I'm not saying that because you're my pretend daughter either. You're really a good person, and you do a great job at
Thank you.
marketing. You make
Yeah.
people, you keep them interested. Seriously.
It requires grit and hard work and determination. You know, those are things as a teacher that, I mean, that's just part of it. And
Well, and you're an
once you set
athlete,
your
right?
eye on
You're
the
an
prize,
athlete, so
you
you're
gotta go
naturally
for it.
competitive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But that's
I
why,
don't
like,
think I ever, I tell everybody that when we talk with Lauren and the guys around, I say, you want to be careful because she'll kick your butt. Seriously.
I believe that.
Chris will be like, are you
Larry-
scared of her?
Larry,
I
I
don't feel scared if I'm with Laren by
Oh,
myself.
no.
I have to admire you.
That's
because-
why I keep using the pretend daughter, because she can protect me also.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Judy.
I say, I have to admire Larry. She gets it. It's
Yes.
not about getting the deal. It's
Yeah.
getting on Shark Tank. I mean, you've got millions of people after Shark Tank. It doesn't matter. I mean, it matters if you get a deal or not sometimes, and sometimes it really doesn't. Look at the ring. I watched them pitch, and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
these guys are crazy. They're not taking this
I
deal.
know.
But they wanted a lot of money for it at the time too. But I mean, what did that company sell for? $1 billion?
It wasn't even really a good pitch either, right? It was kind of like blah.
Yeah, but I'm like, if I had been there as a
What
parent,
a
I
great
would've
idea.
picked up on that. Yeah, I thought that was great.
Because my
I-
whole house
that's
has a
why-
ring on it now, literally the front, back, side, front door.
But I think people, that's something else I'd tell them, don't be so stressed if you don't get a deal.
Yeah.
Because being on Shark Tank is where it's really going to happen.
Yeah. But
Being on
that's
Shark
also
Tank
like,
education.
everyone was telling me that once I got into the group and I didn't get a deal, but it still didn't matter. Like, I really felt like a failure for like the longest because it was such a personal, like, it's weird. Like, people call it Shark Tank PTSD, and it's a real thing because, I mean, even it's just crazy the amount of exposure you get, all these eyes on you. People can comment about you and your product from so many different areas. Luckily, I only got one negative email. It was from Mr. Wonderful's following
Oh
That's
no.
good. That's awesome, though.
because I made fun of him.
Oh.
I mean, naturally, you know, I wasn't going to get a deal from Mr. Wonderful. So, and nor did I want to.
I
So
think it
just-
also depends on the day
Fire
you
shot.
film. I feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
they have different moods. Like they're,
Yeah.
you know, it's filmed earlier and they're hearing pitches all day long. I
Oh, yeah.
remember when we were there, we got very lucky and blessed to be able to film on this. Like we flew out there, they put us in a hotel, we pitched to the producers, and then we filmed the next day. So we were on like day 2 of the first pod. And that you have to think like the sharks are humans, right? They have
Yes.
emotions, they have attention spans. Something really has to be intriguing for them. They're hearing pitch after pitch. So again, like you said, Lauren, like it has no bearing. You're able to still showcase your product, You're able to
Absolutely.
showcase your community. You're able to showcase what you can do on your own, right? And if they don't invest, you prove them wrong, right? You just keep going and grind and find your niche and persevere.
Yeah, we were
Absolutely.
like in the worst possible scenario is COVID. So we had to
Yeah.
take a test before.
That's what
Fly out,
I'm saying,
land, take a
I
right?
would have
test.
never been
Everybody's
able to do
different.
that
There
ever.
was over
I cannot be
120,000
alone for 10
applicants.
days.
And then you get like, you come in and get another test, like 3 tests, and then you get
Yeah.
carted to your room,
I
literally
heard
for
the
10
Vegas
days.
one. Yeah, I heard the Vegas COVID.
I mean, you're
during
waking up in the
COVID was
morning
crazy.
saying your pitch, 2 a.m. you're saying your pitch. You're waking to go to the bathroom in the morning, say your pitch. Like, and then they changed it 3 times. It's like, okay. I know one thing, I could never be a criminal, because I can't be locked in a room.
Oh my
And I can
God.
never be an actor because I can't.
You
act.
can't get caught.
Exactly. And
My-
it was
mine
during the
was like-
fire, so the air was even drier than normal. It was like,
So
Mine
it-
was
I don't think
different.
I want to do that again.
I didn't even get to practice there. I practiced in my bedroom on a Zoom with them. They had one of their like producers jumping out of a trash can practicing with me. It was just like, and then I get there and then we get to practice one time backstage and I'm like, listen to me. I need you to make sure that you lay the carabiner flat and just snap it on. I'm like, show me you can do that.
Yep. Yep.
Because that's what the camera was going to be filming, was her doing that. And it was very important. And she nailed it, man. But
Oh.
We
yeah, I
got put
had
in this
someone
big
jumping out of the trash
bullpen
can.
the day of. We got brought down at 11. We didn't pitch till like 5. Destiny was in our group.
Okay.
Destiny, I said, didn't even really get a chance to talk to her. She had her earpieces in. She was rocking out. I met Scott. Right. So, and I remember like before we were going to go on, we did one more pitch because Junie and I had never done it together. It was always
Right.
Zoom. And I
That's
messed up.
crazy.
And they're like, you're just kidding, right? The producer, I said, no, I really messed up, but trust me. Julie's like, really? You're not? I said, no, I messed up. I said, when the cameras are rolling, I'm not going to mess up. Trust me. I said, I want this robe off of me. They want to feed me a cheeseburger. I said, who wants to eat right now? I just want to get it over with.
I'm pretty sure I blacked out when I was on stage and some of the questions they
Oh.
were asking were on autopilot
Yeah.
because I really was so overwhelmed. And all I can remember was them telling me, when you walk up, look down at your feet and step over the carpet so you do not trip. So we
Yeah.
don't have to start this over again. And I was like, that like sent me into this paranoid stage. And then I looked
Hit your
down and
mark, Kelly. Hit your mark.
I
Hey,
guess
it could have
I
always been
know.
Rick Hopper and tripped and fell. Then he had an
That's the
excuse.
problem. Yeah, so they were super concerned with me falling for some reason. So they really implanted that in my head, and I'm like walking
Oh.
down, and then they make you wait, right? So they
Yeah,
can
30
film
seconds.
B-roll and all the setup, and I'm like, this is really scary. And I pitched. I nailed my pitch because I had
Absolutely.
practiced it a gajillion times. But that whole time I was blacked out. I don't remember. It was like autopilot. And
You
then
know what Scott told me?
what?
I'm the chef too. He said it was like I was in my own crash. I walked in, it didn't seem real. It seemed surreal.
It
We're
did.
pitching and I'm like, I'm just on autopilot and it seemed like my car was crashing. He said I was in my vehicle and it was literally just crashing as I was giving my pitch.
And what they don't see, because they do edit the show, is like sometimes if they're hot for a product, they all start yelling at you at the same time and you want to be
Yeah.
respectful and answer all the questions, and they're sharks, you know?
No, you have to hear the question that you want to answer.
Yeah,
That's the
that's a
thing
good,
right
that's
there.
a good point.
And then you have to also respond to it properly.
Yes, I
It's funny
know.
because they were
That's-
doing that with us and Mr. Wonderful looked over at Robert because he was asking all these questions. He said, Robert, why don't you shut up for a minute? He can probably help you with your own products.
Oh, that's so funny.
They
They
Yeah.
were
still
going
furnish
back and
a
forth.
psychiatrist? Do they still?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
That
We
always
had
is.
one
Reason-
said-
there's
It's a
reason for
lifetime,
that.
by the way, it's lifetime. They give you a card. You can call them anytime, he said.
Yeah.
It's on the house.
Yeah.
Hey, did y'all
Yeah.
get to go out and look at your set before?
Yeah, I get one
We
trip
did a
through.
walkthrough.
Yeah.
Wow.
See, these signs back here that I have, these big posters, those were on my set and they were like, okay, we're just gonna throw these away. And I was like, excuse me, no, I paid like $600 for those. I will be taking them with me.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like,
Oh.
no. And then I put them in I double bagged them in a trash bag, and then I put them on the plane. I checked them on
You
the
can
plane.
see, I had my mom go on the show. She was Mosquito Magnet Mom.
Yeah.
So her,
Perfect.
her apparel is here. So let's just
That's
put that
hilarious.
on. She was
Yeah.
Mosquito Magnet Mom for my pitch. So,
That's
and
perfect.
you know, again, they're all over. Like I came up with that idea and then they ran with it and they kind of helped me put together the pitch that would be the most impactful. And it was scary. When we did our walkthrough, all the sharks were out there and I
Yeah.
couldn't say anything to them. And I'm like, these are
They don't
some
even look at you.
opportunities I'm
They're
about
looking
to
at their
pitch to them."
phones. They're looking at their phones and they're getting their makeup
I
done.
know, the touched
You know
up,
how-
I'm like, oh my God, this is my
We
whole
went out
life.
with that whole
and-
king and queen thing, right? But before that, the colors, we were just going to get some shirts done and wear some nice clothes. And I went into Macy's. It was just the weirdest thing. I walked by this baby blue suit. So I said, I held it up, took a picture. I sent it to my son, my wife, and my Judy. So my Judy said, forget it. No way. Brandy said, no way. My kid said, I don't know if you want to stand out.
Stand out on Shark
Right. And
Tank.
then my other son said, oh, heck yeah. So I went and put it on, took a picture in the mirror and sent it to the producers. They said, absolutely. Judy, you go find a pink one.
Wow.
Perfect.
There you
And
go.
They know they're good. Like
They are,
they
they've
win
got
awards
it.
for a reason. Because
Yep.
they know what they're doing.
Then they were
I
like,
didn't
make
want
sure
someone
when
in
you
a
say
trash
you're the
can.
king or the queen, say it like you mean it. King of America. I was like, I'm the king of matter of fact. No, say it like you're punching them. I'm like, whoa.
My poor mom on the show got the Academy Award from Mark Cuban. That's what he said right after. Ellen, you won the Academy, because I had her going, like running around. There was mosquito noises. It was like, it was
Hilarious.
absolutely over the top. Like it was ridiculous. And then it came down to the serious part, right? Where now the joke's over, the pitch is over, and then they start hounding you. with
Drilling the questions.
and-
Wow, that's so
and
funny.
it's like, that's the part that becomes overwhelming. And anybody that's going to go on Shark Tank, if you have a partner, make sure you know whose strengths are what. My mom has, 40 years experience in import export. So I had her take a lot of the financial side because I wasn't as quick at the questions, but I had the consumer side and the marketing side and the PR side.
Yeah.
So it's
Huh.
just,
That's exactly how we set it up. Like Judy
Yeah.
handled all of the product knowledge because she came up with it. I
Yep.
handled all the business side, the
Yep.
manufacturing, the sales.
that's
the
exactly
finance.
what happened with us. So
Okay. Question for you guys. I don't know if some of our listeners realize how long you're on in front of the Sharks. They only see the show. So if you can let people know, if you, and did they cut anything that's memorable or that you would have wanted to see on TV?
that's a good question. And I think it varies for everybody again.
It felt like 10 minutes, but it was an hour 15 for us.
So my whole pitch was pretty true to self. It happened very fast. So I don't even think I was on for more than 15 minutes before we had offers and we closed the deal. They did chop a little portion out, but pretty much our pitch went as is.
Wow, that's
So I
great.
think it's
That's
just different
crazy.
for
I cannot
everybody.
believe that. I was in
Yeah.
there. I was in there for at least 30 minutes, I know. And then they tell you if you're not getting a deal, you need to keep talking and try to get them to come back in.
Oh,
And I was
really?
just like, dang, I feel
Okay.
like I'm beating a dead horse. I really don't like this. I feel like I'm begging. And that's when
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I was done. I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Like,
ours
I
was
done.
short. But the guy, one of my friends that I network with, Plopstar, he's about to relaunch because he ran into some manufacturing issues. He was on for I think over an hour. I've heard some pitches go up to 2 hours plus, which is crazy. But again, on the entrepreneur side, you're sitting in a trailer waiting for your turn. And if a pitch before you goes 2 hours and you're ready to pitch next and they go, oh, by the way, it's lunchtime now, you're getting booted till tomorrow. That happens. And it throws wrenches. So Shark Tank is no joke, but the amount of good it can do for brands,
Sure.
in my personal opinion,
Amazing.
it can, you know, whether you get a deal or not, you still have that momentum that at least kickstarts your company.
I will tell you though, it was intense. I pitched to Ford Motor Company board. I
Yeah.
pitched to the BMW board, and I felt like it was nothing for me.
They
Yeah.
weren't on
But
TV.
being in that
They weren't
arena,
on TV,
it
They
just
know,
seemed
they know
totally
the
different.
keywords.
right? Well, what people don't understand is you finally get on the show, you have to nail all of your pitch. You have to get out there without tripping. You got to answer the questions correctly. If you get a deal or not, you don't know if it's going to go through. And then on top of that, you don't know how you're going to be portrayed on TV. And that was just like,
That's
I'm so
terrifying.
thankful I was the first episode. I filmed in July. I aired in October. I found out I was going to air in September. I was a nervous wreck. Like, was I good enough to air? Because not everyone airs. Y'all know that. They fly out like 120 people and 100 air. I was like, oh my God, I wasn't good enough to air. I find out I'm airing. Oh my God, am I going to look like an idiot on national television?
So many
Like,
unknowns from the
it
whole
is.
start to end process, which makes it intimidating and
Absolutely.
scary.
When I watched it with a group of 80 people, with me and Judy Carmine was there. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know how they were
Right.
going to edit it,
Right.
but it,
But
they
you got
edited it
a
for
deal.
entertainment. It was entertaining, that's for sure.
Yeah, but you got a
We were-
deal.
We were on for an hour and a half.
Wow.
And I'm really glad they cut out a lot of things that they did.
Yeah.
Because if you get a deal, they want to portray you as best as they can. They do that for the shark. So thankfully, they didn't show some of the stuff that was really not so good. Some things that were said that were really shocking to me.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that was all cut out. Barbara pulled out some tarot cards.
Oh
And
my
I mean, we went
goodness.
through a whole thing with these tarot
What?
cards, and I'm like, ah. So anyway, there was a lot of things not shown
That
that
is crazy.
shouldn't have been shown.
I wish they would have shown, like, Mark really stood up for me a lot while I was in the tank, because I had so many manufacturing issues with US made product. And like, I had a guest shark. This is Stephanie sneaking by. She thinks you
Hey,
can see her.
Stephanie.
We
She's
can
gotta
see
come
you,
get some
Stephanie.
product.
You're being called out.
Right? We're working over here, y'all. We don't stop at Lion Lash. We keep going. But Mark stood up for me because my guest shark has no experience in plastic manufacturing. So she would say things to me, and I would look at her, and before I could even open my mouth, Mark was like telling her like why she's wrong. And I was like, that's right.
Yeah,
What he said.
Go Mavs.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said from the beginning, it's totally different for everybody. Everybody's experience is different. Sometimes you get last minute, calls to go film. Sometimes, I've just heard every story in the book. So I would say there's not one consistent thing, but if you are going to go on the show, over prepare, have a plan, make sure you understand that there's a chance that all that overwhelmness can, get you tied up with speaking. And so practice your pitch over and over and over again, practice your answers, make
Your
sure all the-
numbers.
yes,
Know
the
your numbers.
numbers got to be on
Big deal.
par. The
Know your numbers.
yeah,
You can imagine how panicked I was being an art teacher and having to talk about numbers.
I couldn't
I was
do
like-
it. That's why I grabbed my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm not going on the show without you because I know the consumer market. I know the demand. I sold my
Yeah.
house for this. We were already doing well before we went on Shark Tank. I taught myself social media marketing, and it just
You're
progressed
amazing.
from there. And
It's amazing what you learn when you sell your house, right?
Oh, it's grind time. Like that was
Yeah.
terrifying, right? That was the first
Yeah.
house we had ever bought, and we sold it to invest in our first batch, real batch, because we had already.
Kickstarter,
Hey,
everyone.
that's
I
what you call
know.
all in.
That's what I did.
We're all
I did a
in.
Kickstarter, and I went around Marble Falls, Texas, like pitching a 3D printed lion latch to all the businesses, gyms, coaches and athletes, restaurants. And I was even on the back of the parade float throwing out flyers about my Kickstarter with the lanyard that I had made.
So I was like bake sales and farmers markets. And when my
Yes!
daughter's bake sale, I started getting tracked down to the parking lot from like relatives of people that attended my daughter's school, buying them out of my backyard. I had my Shopify point of sale app and I was selling them out the back of my car.
Yes.
And
That's
that
beautiful.
is what forced me to go all in, because I'm like,
Wow.
there's a demand here. I'm getting tracked down and this is life changing for people. And when I launched it, it just, the reviews, that's all. When you read reviews that impactful, how it's changing people's lives. I'm sure Judy and you, Lauren, everybody can relate to that. You know, you can't unsee those. So there's a part of energy in you that you just want to keep going to educate more people and let them know it exists. So
Wow.
Our
Very
first,
cool.
our first experience with the Squatty Potty was at a women's conference called
Yeah.
What Women Want. We bought a booth and thought the women would probably want a Squatty Potty. Well, they avoided walking past us because the visuals in our booth was a woman sitting on a toilet and her feet up, and they avoided us. Nobody wanted
that's
to talk about
interesting, Judy.
pooping.
Yeah.
Judy, what's
that's
your
super
favorite line? Let's go. Let's
I
come clean.
know.
What's your favorite line? I saw it at Make 48. We wear pins about it.
And I had one woman come to me and say, you know, she started saying, well, we don't want to talk about this, you know, and then she actually ended up buying one. So, but anyway, that was kind of our first experience about how are we going to market this when nobody wants to talk about it? That was our biggest hang up with advertising and anything, is because it was not a subject people talked about. And
Wow.
so that's probably our biggest,
That's interesting.
hardest
That's,
thing to overcome.
yeah, that's very similar to bug bite thing. We had to overcome the skepticism, right? Ours is a chemical-free suction.
Too
tool.
easy. It seemed too
It
easy.
seemed too
Yeah.
easy for
Yeah.
people to think it would work.
Oh, I
So
believe it.
I made the mistake at the beginning to go, this was prior to Shark Tank, to go after the male demographic. I'm like, this is for hikers, this is for backpackers, this is for anybody in the deep woods. And it flopped. All I did was get hit with skepticism. So when I pivoted and went back to the drawing board and I said, why do I love the product so much? Well, it's keeping my daughter out of the doctor's office every week because she suffers terribly. You know, all the feedback I was getting were from moms, and they were now sharing it with their husbands in the field. And so our demographic was just totally wrong. And if I stopped at that point, we would not be where we're at. So you never know. You never know. Keep going.
So real quick, with and by the way, Kelly has an awesome team behind her, her PR team, and
Thank
so
you.
question for you guys, and I'm not sure, but with this, I want to call it fame, being on Shark Tank, and do you get any people that negatively send emails to you? There's always somebody out there that has to hassle people just because they've been on.
Haters.
Shark
Everybody's
Tank.
got to have a hater. My
They're
son says
Mr.
there's no one's
Wonderful
hating on you. You're not
followers.
succeeding.
Yeah. Do you have anybody
let's
that's
hear
just yeah.
Lauren's story first. I want to hear that one.
That I only got one negative email. And it was
She
from
already
that
kidnapped him. She got him tied up in the back.
Right? No, I'll put him in the sleeper hold. He's taking a nap.
So for us, we get hit with negative feedback before people try the product. We also get hit with negative feedback because our product is one that you have to educate people with how to properly use. You have to use it as soon as you notice the bite, because the longer the irritant stays in the skin, the more you react to it. You have to push the handles down. You don't need all the suction power. You're going to give yourself a hickey. How to introduce it to children to make sure it's not a shot. So there was a lot of obstacles that we had to overcome, you know, at the beginning. So we just went with it and we set up troubleshooting. So the second somebody on our social media says, this thing is a piece of junk, it doesn't work, I've created a list of questions that 9 out of 10 times, by not being direct and just kind of funneling in, how long after the bite did you use it? What type of insect did you use it? That we can tell they're using it incorrectly from those 5 series of questions. So we hit the skepticism and the naysayers head on. And because we've built such a large community and people, you know, we are gung-ho about the product and it's working on them, they started to combat the negative for us, which was very interesting. And we still get it today. I mean, somebody will post, this didn't work. And then you got 12 of our customers saying, you didn't use it right. I use this every day. And that's really fulfilling to me because that means we're building the community the way that I want to build it, right? We're not hiding anything. We're just trying to introduce and provide people with relief.
Yeah, that's like my TikTok following where you're talking about like you create a community. Like originally I was just combating negative comments because and a lot of the time it is men,
Yep.
of course. They don't know about a wedding ring. They don't wear jewelry, most of them. And so they're just talking trash about my product. And then they get married and they're like, okay, hold on, now I get it. Yeah. But I mean, when you create a community like on my TikTok, it's crazy when you see people start standing up for you and your
it's the
product
best feeling.
and you don't even know them. And you're just like, oh my God, thank you for stepping in. But Kelly, you have some of the greatest packaging because you've got like every Q&A, like it's crazy. Every kind of question we could have is in the package. It's perfect. And it's not a fold out insert. It's on the package.
Yeah, it's when you introduce a new concept like Judy, there's a lot of education and creativity that you have to be able to penetrate the market and explain why your product is better than others. Just like Judy said earlier, we're the first chemical-free option that has proof of concept to hit the retail market. So the opportunity is mass for us. And because we're proving year over year that we're selling through, now we're at the point where retailers are starting to add locations. And it's just about building a community. I owned Squatty Potties before I went on Shark Tank. Now I have them in my whole office because I'm a believer. It helps me. I had struggled with similar issues like Judy said. And even if I forget it traveling, I will put a trash can, like the method and what we learned from something. I think education is key. So thank you for the
We
comment.
even had on the Super Potty Trainer, which you would think this could never happen, right?
Yeah.
It fits between the toilet bowl and the toilet seat. And there's silicone pads and the weight of the child holds it in place. So when you lean back, it won't slide. Somebody sent us a photo with it on the actual toilet bowl and said, it doesn't hold my child. When she leans back, it falls off. And I'm like, is someone pranking me right now? Are they
One step is all it takes to use your product, and people still.
No, and there's
Oh,
always
yeah.
that-
And
that's what I'm
then
saying.
like, even with something as simple as ours, oh, you suck out the venom. We get people going like this, we get people not holding it in place. So something so simple that and then combating that with your consumers without making them feel, for better words, dumb, right? Like you don't want them to feel like they're using the product incorrectly. So that's why those troubleshooting tips and things we came up with really help our community. We've converted a lot of naysayers into, oh my gosh, I was using it incorrectly. Thank you so much for being a support. So I think that's important for your community if you're a consumer brand.
So the biggest hate mail we had is after Shark Tank, when we had 20,000 units available and we sold through those within the first 2 hours of Shark Tank review. So it took us clear from November till February to be able to catch up with our orders. And during Christmas time, everybody wanted to give everybody a Squatty Potty, and we could not produce them for everyone. We had a lot of
you were stressed out
about how we totally ruined everyone's Christmas.
Oh my
God. A lot. I'm like, if you ruined your Christmas,
sometimes.
I'm really sorry, but buy another gift. I don't know what to tell
The anti-Santa Claus.
Yes, and we were
Oh my
hated
God, people.
for a while. So that was that was pretty stressful.
I had that anxiety too, because I was having manufacturing issues. Of course, the producers picked me as first to air, so I have no time to fix like anything. And so I'm just like sending email update every week. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm trying so hard. Like, and I had a baby. I had a fresh baby. And so, and so I'm trying to juggle that. And, then like I managed to get them out just in time for Christmas. And I was just so thankful, and people were pumped. I got all these amazing emails, like congratulating me that I got it done. And I mean, the amount of stress that I put on myself, and the Shark Tank group, they were like, it's going to be fine. Communication is key. Be transparent. People understand, they saw your episode. That's why they want to support you. They get what you're going through. And I just continue to put that amount of weight on my shoulders. but thankfully we were able to pull it off and get them out for Christmas.
I
So
think
can
as an
hardly-
entrepreneur in general, everybody's got that
Yeah.
same mentality. Like, I'm so hard on myself. Even today, I'm like, I see so much more potential. And people look at me like, you made it, you hit the dream. And I'm like, I feel like I just started, so it's just, they don't understand. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have similar thought processes and mindsets, and have to go through it to understand how to come out the other
Well,
end.
sometimes when you make it look easy,
Yeah,
I've had that happen with me. We're running big plants. When you make it
Yep.
look easy, people think it's easy. So I
right.
say, okay, I'm going to be out for the week. It's all you now. Have fun. Then they
Do
come
you
back
know-
and say, when are you coming back?
If that happened, I can't even do that at this stage. Like that, where I'm in
Yeah.
the grind right now, we're still riding the wave from Shark Tank.
Right.
And you can't turn it off either. Like you
Yeah.
can't turn off what you're doing. Like your brain goes constantly. Sometimes I wonder why I'm so tired. And it's because I wake up in the middle of the night still thinking about what I didn't get done today. But like I did a TikTok video this past week where I was talking about like people just leaving negative comments for no reason. Like it's easy to just scroll on. If the product's not for you, just keep scrolling.
Right.
But some people can't resist. And on what Chris just said, like I can't just make a softball line latch overnight. Like that's
Right.
not something I'm capable of doing. It takes time. I have to have the color of inventory first. Then I have to have it printed. I've got to receive it again and then post it on the website. But people get so upset, like, why haven't you come out with a pom-pom lion latch yet for the cheer team? And I'm like, well, because I can't put a pom-pom on like on mint, on pink, on purple, because that's going to create so many SKUs and so much inventory that may not move. Like there's so many things people don't get,
Yeah.
but we work hard, and
Yeah.
Kelly,
adding
you just came out with a
SKUs
new
becomes
color.
a nightmare if you're not
Yeah,
careful. You're right.
we-
You got to manage each one of those now.
We've
And you
got
got
a
to pay
line
for
of
the color.
colors.
You have to
Yeah.
pay for the color too.
Right.
Yeah, it's a pain. And, pricing is different to make a color versus the white. We're 3 years ahead with the white unit, which is what we originally launched. So
Right.
pricing is different, right? We're buying, by the millions. We've sold over 4 million units. So it becomes a juggling act at this stage.
Yeah.
And there's phases. And what I did not know naively before I went on Shark Tank, I thought that after the show, regardless what happened, there was going to be this community of people and they were going to tell me, here's step A, here's step B, here's step C, here's step, and so on. And that just does not exist. Let's be in reality. You create your own reality. You create your own destiny. And if there's something that you think is, has validity, then go after it, test it, pivot, don't be afraid. Because those outliers are the ones that end up taking off.
Right.
You've got a great product.
All right. Okay, guys, we got to get into the Shark Tank panel coming up because this is so interesting. But we do have to move on to our actual pitch panels, which is going to be fun. So I would ask, first off, thank you so much for being on today. If you're not on any of the pitch panels, if you are, please stick around. This Shark Tank panel was awesome, so interesting. I love hearing the stories, love hearing what's happening and the back end, what's really going on in the Shark Tank world. So I thank you
You
for
guys
that.
are all rock stars, man. We appreciate everything
Everybody.
you do. Judy, I've known you forever now, it seems like. I love all you guys. You guys are just the best people to be with. Thank you.
I love
Thank
y'all
you,
too.
guys.